I'm Justin.
And I'm Jay.
And together, we're Cryptids of the Corn podcast.
We are where scientific and magical thinking combine.
We take my background in biology.
And my background in exploring the unknown.
We cover everything from sea serpents, UFOs, Bigfoots, the paranormal.
Sky creatures, land creatures, cavern creatures.
So please join us at Cryptids of the Corn podcast.
On a routine November evening in 1953, an Air Defense Command radar detected an unidentified object over Lake Superior, prompting the immediate scramble of an F-89C Scorpion jet from Kinross Air Force Base in Michigan. Piloted by First Lieutenant Felix Moncla, with Second Lieutenant Robert Wilson as radar operator, the jet set out under a blanket of secrecy and uncertainty. As ground radar operators watched anxiously, the blip representing Moncla's jet approached the unidentified object. Then, in a moment that has baffled and intrigued for decades, the two blips merged on the radar screen, and contact was abruptly lost. The jet, along with Lieutenant Moncla and Lieutenant Wilson, vanished without a trace. This incident remains a chilling enigma, emblematic of the early days of the Cold War, where airspace was closely monitored, and the unknown was met with more fear than fascination. This case file, join the theorists as we soar into the chilling cloud of mystery that surrounds one of the most puzzling aviation disappearances in the Kinross UFO incident.
Welcome to Alien Theorists Theorizing Case File 331, the Kinross UFO incident. I'm Braden.
I'm Zell.
I'm Dan.
Just literally blinded myself.
Flashbang yourself.
Yeah, we cut Andrew.
Killed him.
From the show. Honestly, It's just too hard. It's too hard with him. He's just such dead weight.
Four is tough. Four's always been tough.
Yeah.
We've been humming and hawing a hood murder.
Yeah,
trying to carry him.
And we did it by the fairest way we could, and we went by height.
Dan was wearing platform that day.
Dan was wearing his boots, and Andrew's been cut. Listen, first off, as we, I don't know why. I think we might be starting to, hit the charts again, because I've noticed we're getting more and more 1-star reviews again, and I'm like, hey, that's a good sign.
People aren't upset you're not doing something.
Yeah. And so, as we do normally at the start of these shows, we're going to apologize to the few that we upset. And this latest 1-star review, obviously, I'm guessing had a lazy eye and was upset. That's why I think he'd be upset, because we did a whole bit on everyone in the prairies.
Made fun of someone's appearance.
Eyes are apart due to natural selection.
We call them as we see them.
Yeah. And so it was just like, said we were making fun of everyone's appearances. And I was like, not everyone's.
Just a select few.
Right?
Feel free. People do it all the time, but feel free. You can make fun of our appearances. Fine.
Yeah, listen.
People do.
There's no problem.
People do.
All the time. I'm being referred to as the big slow.
Yeah.
it's all.
Braden regularly cries.
Yeah. Every night, myself to sleep.
Mm-hmm. Well, what you gonna do?
This one, listen, this is a good old international incident we're talking about tonight.
Uh-huh.
Kind of interesting. Go back in these historical ones where, they're kind of mysterious. You don't really hear about them. Unsolved Mysteries hasn't done an episode on it yet.
Nope.
They will after this podcast.
They could.
They probably will at some point.
This one actually was not very well searchable. As far as other podcasts or YouTube videos, there's very, very limited.
Yeah.
For some reason. Why is that? I wonder. It's scrubbing the truth.
It could be, possibly.
it's a military cover up because it is.
Listen, if we get hit by a fucking another 90-day ban for talking about this incident,
we're getting too close if we get hit with another strike.
God damn it!
Yeah, this is what's going to get us the 90 ban, not the freaking all the other stuff.
Don't say it, Dan.
Don't say anything.
Not all the other stuff that you guys say on the.
Don't talk about it.
Hey, listen. All we know is we know when we're getting too close to the truth because YouTube lets us know.
If you say something they don't like, doesn't jive with something, ban hammer.
Yeah, 90-day warning. Then we have to do a little course.
No, first you have to file your appeal, which is rejected before you even click send.
By the algorithm.
It's instantly rejected.
You don't make enough money.
In the same instant you hit send, it goes rejected. You're like, oh.
Okie dokie. It actually extends the ban if you try and appeal.
This one took me down a couple of different rabbit holes. Number one, it took me down the fishing rabbit hole of Upper Peninsula of Michigan, Western Michigan. Because
you're just all looking up the fishing rigs. You're like, how big can the lake trout be?
I watched like 3 half-hour videos about hour and a half videos about fishing up there because I started number one, the scenery is gorgeous up there. It's very nice. And then I had to learn how to pronounce some of the places. Because I saw the names of some of these and I was like, no, I gotta know how to pronounce some of these. So it's I had to go through some fishing videos of people fishing up there to learn what some of these places were called, locals, and then I had to go through some of the touristy videos of some of these places, which was kind of interesting.
Now, in the Great Lakes, it's not rare, I'll bet not unheard of, for bull sharks to wander into these waters, right?
I've heard of bull sharks getting that far up, but I bet you it's super rare.
I don't know, but I know the Mississippi. I know they get.
All I'm saying is keep that in mind when we go through this because I've got a theory.
Wait, no, I'm
okay. I can't wait to hear this one.
No. It can't even happen. God. It can't happen because the Great Lakes are. Well, I guess it could. Never mind.
Wait, how are these two things connected?
You know what? I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to wait for the theory. Yeah, I'm going to wait for the theory.
That's going to be the big one right here. So this one takes place in 1953. So early 1950s kind of set the scene. It's a lot of this involves U.S. air defense, which is a lot of the records and the information that we pulled from. And back then, U.S. air defense was very much in its nascent stage. This was the beginning of when we're okay, Soviet Union intercontinental ballistic missile threat. We need to put up, systems, radar stations, Air Force things. We got to build all these. It was
and they're like, our fucking northern ally here cannot be trusted to look after any airspace. This is falling solely on our hands.
So there was a very accelerated construction of a lot of Air Force bases that were deemed necessary to counter that Soviet threat to put up theirs. And so one we're specifically concerned with today would be the 30th Air Division, which was organized in February of 1953. So earlier that year. And this, that specific division was tasked with the air defense cover of the Great Lakes region of the United States. So, all of theirs, Lake Michigan, Lake Superior, all those great guys. So November 23rd, 1953, it's a very typical overcast, chilly day over the Great Lakes.
That is the time in this area.
Is there any other day in the area that's not chilly and overcast, from what I hear?
Right. Yeah. It's even in the videos I was watching, I was like, oh, it's really nice, but it's also chilly and overcast.
Yeah.
And you have the 433rd Fighter Interceptor Squadron was operating with 4 interceptor aircraft on alert status at that point. So you had 2. Normally you would have 2 kind of squadrons. You have 2 sets of pairs of jets, and you would have 2 on 5-minute alert, and then you'd have 2 on 15-minute alert. So
and that's just what it sounds like. If an alarm's rung, those jets are in the air within 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now the crazy thing to me is I was 2. I was like, I bet now, how many do you think now they could scramble in 5 minutes in a post 9/11 world? Oh, how many jet fighters could they have had in the air within 5 minutes.
In this area, I mean, it's probably a low threat from aerial invasion, I would imagine, as far as from Russia to China.
Post 9/11? Post 9/11? Are you kidding me?
Central America? I'm saying if
I'm
it's on the coast,
saying, I bet this same base, if this same base is operational, triple that.
I don't think that one's not. I don't think like this one specifically.
Sure. Well, then minus it to 0.
If there's even a base there anymore, yeah.
Yeah.
I know Canada could get at least a couple commercial airliners up there.
I think actually,
we can't get a commercial air jet on time. Are you kidding me?
I'm not saying to be there on in any type of
we're scrambling our fucking 737 Air Max WestJet 3 hours late.
They're probably
oversold by 50,
and then there'd be a pilot strike just at that time. Can't get.
We're no help. The Canadians are zero help.
The RAF, no, no good.
All of our focus has gone into submarine technology in Canada,
which we also don't have any of.
Yeah, we have 3, just state of the art. They're all in the mall, but.
Defending them all,
landlocked.
That specific airbase, because a lot of this information actually comes from like a civilian group that actually got together, and I was kind of surprised by this. It was like I forgot the name of the organization. I had the page up and I lost it, but it was like they actually got together and they like bought like the property that the Air Force Base, like the original air defense base, kind of sat on, like concerned with this event, and like they bought it and kind of, I don't know if it's like a lot of the information is like comes from their group, which is
it one of those
neat
things, like I don't know if you guys have ever been to ghost towns, but like there's a like in Tassus, for example, there's like an abandoned mill, and it looks like when you can go, like all the doors are broken off and stuff. You walk in, and there's just like file cabinets with files, like just you can open and just start going through like employee workbooks and like old Wemyss forms from like the 60s. You're like, this is so weird. It's just like they up and were like, we're not going to work.
The actual group is like kind of, that's what they were doing. Like they had heard about this event, and I don't know if it's part of kind of like revamping tourism in the area, which or something like that. But they put together money and they bought this place, and they're planning on restoring it. They put out some information, a lot of like really detailed account.
I don't want to nitpick and I don't want to critique too much, but like if your tourism board is like, you're like, you know what will revitalize this town if we focus our sole identity on an obscure plane crash happened with some, that's unsolved and mysterious surrounding. They're like, that'll draw them. You're like, listen, you got a park? You got a park anything? Hey, you have some sort of festival?
I'm not even joking, but it's like every place that has a single UFO sighting has a festival now. Like they all have.
Yeah, you have
like
to.
If you have one now, like there's no lack of.
If you hold it, they will come.
Yeah, there's a Mothman
Linda Moulton Howe will be there.
Yeah, she will probably. Her
and Lou Elizondo will be there.
No, he's too big time for those.
He's gonna hold a tell-all panel where he doesn't give you. He can't share any of the details.
I got to be careful here, Joe. Got to be careful here, Joe. I can't say too much.
Redacted. You got to read my new book.
I only got a certain level of clearance.
Doesn't say anything.
Did you read his book? Did you read the new book or no?
I read the notes.
I read the notes.
And I was like, what? Does he say anything I haven't heard? I've listened to this guy talk so much. And it's like, no. He's just as vague.
It's so infuriating.
Yeah. You're like,
why does this guy get so much attention? Like, I got the answer. Is this the classic tale? I got the answers. You got to wait to hear him.
It's still just like listing out his stuff.
Yeah.
Like
imminent or whatever. Is that what it's called? Imminent.
Imminent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, so the specific aircraft that we're concerned with today were the F-89C Scorpions. So here I am, rocky like a hurricane, Scorpions. Now I thought this was super cool. Like these are Northrop F-89 Scorpions, which were the first American jet aircraft to specifically be designed and designated as interceptor aircraft, which I thought was super neat. I thought that was really cool. And these ones, but these things had officially entered service in like September of 1950. So they're only like 3 years old. And the we'll talk about them a little bit about their design and stuff later.
They look really cool.
I mean, they're cool. Like they're very and they're fast. Like they're pretty quick. But I think they're still sub supersonic. Like they're not. I think they're still under 500 miles per hour. Like I don't think they're.
I mean, that's fast because it was like.
Well, yeah, they're fast, but it's like these things got replaced like pretty quick. Like after 1953, I think like they started getting replaced like the next year or something like that. Like they did not stay in service very long because we had aerospace because we got all the crashed UFOs and we had the supersonic jets
for sure.
Quick, so
jet engine technology was evolving faster than the modern computer at that time. Just every year, new fucking jets.
Yeah, because we were reverse engineering UFOs.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah. So the event, like the interesting series of events starts at pretty much around like 6:15, so 6:17 p.m. You had radar operators at Keweenaw radar site detected an aircraft over Lake Superior. Now, this aircraft, they were not exactly sure what it was. It was just coming back on their radar return, and they're like, they're like, that's an aircraft that doesn't seem to be, it's up in the air, but we don't know what that is because there's nothing scheduled to be there. So, like the official statement is that this aircraft was originally believed to be a C-47 Dakota of the Royal Canadian Air Force, which had the designation of VC-912.
Now, the one thing that I wanted to point out about this, because like the official report claims it, and it claims that because this aircraft was 30 miles off course, they knew what it was, but it's still deemed as unknown because it's, veering off course. However, like I read conflicting reports that said like, this was after the fact that they're like, these are the things. But at the time, they were like, we don't know what this is on radar. And that's why they decided to scramble jets. It wasn't as if they were like, this is this. We know. I read reports that was like, officials didn't release that till after this incident.
Well, I don't even think, the thing is like they didn't even ever officially confirm from what I was reading, like documents and like statements, like there was no official confirmation that that's what it was. Like this is what they believe, this is what they thought it was originally, but there was never confirmation from like the Royal Canadian Air Force. Like it was just
the only confirmation that I saw was that this plane with that identifier exists and it didn't crash on this date or any other date later on.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like that plane was operational.
Yeah.
We're probably still using it.
Yeah.
That's a real plane that the Canadian Air Force had. That's like, that's all the confirmation that I saw.
Yeah. So within a very few minutes, so 6:22 p.m., First Lieutenant Felix Moncla Jr. Is the pilot, and Second Lieutenant Robert Wilson, as his radar operator, are scramble in their F-89C Scorpion to under orders for them to positively identify what that aircraft is, to find out what that thing is, because it's not supposed to be there, whatever it is. There's no flight. There was no flight schedule of being like something that's there. And even if it is, what they kind of like, they're like the closest thing it could be is that Royal Canadian Air Force aircraft. They're like, you need to go and figure out and find out what that thing is. So they set off, and then boom, like they're in the air. And they start out at like 30,000. They get to 30,000 feet, and they head that way.
One of the things I read, and this is a point I wanted to discuss, is like initially they fly and they're like 10,000, 15,000 feet, but it's like overcast and it's snowing and it's difficult. In my head, I was thinking of like, man, you know how bad it is driving when it's like heavy snow and you're going like 80 miles an hour and you're like,
I'm going out the windshield.
I'm going light speed, brother. Like this is now imagine you're driving a fucking one of these planes going 500 miles. Like you must like visibility must be absolute zero. You're just like, holy, that like you can't see shit, man, at all. Like complete whiteout. It must be. And so like they request to go up because they're like, this is brutal.
Yeah, so they request to like get above the cloud cover because they're like, this is too much. Like we got to go up, and so we can actually make it through here because I I think they're trying to avoid a couple of things because they were also having like radio. They were a bit of like radio interference. They believed it was from the weather. That like they couldn't, radio communications were like intermittent and not truly optimal. So you've got like a series of Air Force bases like picking up this aircraft, and like one of the first ones like towards the east is you have this is one of the ones I had to look at. It's spelled SAULT.
Sault Ste. Marie.
You never heard that before?
You never heard that, Dan?
No.
What did you think it was? Salt?
Yes, that's what I thought when I read it.
Sault Ste. Marie.
See, but I learned my lesson. I learned my lesson on so many of these other ones that I had to go and watch the thing about it. And it's like, okay, it's Sault Ste. Marie is the name of the town.
And it's weird because it's not spelled Sue and it's not spelled Saint. It's spelled Sault Ste. Marie.
Yeah, I was like, yeah.
I like that. That should be the English saying of that. Like, yeah, if you're French, it's Sault Ste. Marie, but if you're English, it's Sault Ste. Marie.
I mean, Dan wouldn't be the first American to be like, it's Sault Ste. Marie. Is that right?
Yeah. And just for everyone listen, it's SAULT space STE space Marie, spelt Marie, which leads you to believe that I should be pronouncing everything how I read it, because why would Marie still be the same pronunciation?
Yeah.
We're in that blended region of Canada where it was French and English, and then this kind of morphed into one weird language.
Yeah, it's bizarre. And I was like, okay, I didn't look totally into history. I did look into some of the touristy spots there because it's like, they have like they have a couple they have the locks there that they have like shipping go through and stuff like that, which is it actually looks pretty cool. It's like you can go
good
there.
Hockey town.
Yeah, I was like, you can go there and you can watch shipping.
I think it was Claude Giroux. Claude Giroux's from there.
Yeah, I think he's from there. Some good old hockey boys from that town.
Apparently, they have some really nice gourmet popcorn places.
Oh no, he was from Hearst, not Sault Ste. Marie. My bad.
Was Crosby from Sault Ste. Marie?
No, he's from Nova Scotia somewhere.
I feel like someone famous was from Sault Ste. Marie.
Okay, gotta get to the bottom of it.
Let's famous people from
Sault Ste. Marie.
Sault Ste. Marie.
Who is from there? What's it known for?
It's just a regular who's who, isn't it?
Gourmet popcorn.
No one really comes right to the top.
That's what you're saying. It's just a whole town full of just average people.
It's known as the friendliest city.
Is it?
In Algoma? What's Algoma?
Is that a small?
Is that the region?
Yeah.
I guess so. Very small region.
And that's the only city in that region.
Yeah. Well, it's because they have to correct their name all the time to people.
Yeah. So Sault Ste. Marie Air Force Station reported poor radio communications with that. At that time, it was Felix Moncla's and Second Lieutenant Robert Wilson's F-89, which was designated Avenger Red for this operation. And so they had attempted to hand over radio communication primacy to Keweenaw radar site, which is like a little bit farther, which would have been like farther west at the time.
Wait, I just got to ask a question before we go further. Like, how I know they had radar at the time, but like, how good of radar are we talking here? So like, was that pretty primitive?
I know their Avenger Red had a transponder or some IFF or what, can't remember what it's called. IFF that basically that when radar pings their plane sends like a ping back being like, I'm friendly. I'm one of yours. So it's like the plane's communicating with radar constantly, automatically. So we're like at that point.
So radar's not, it's not bouncing back the size of the aircraft then. It's just bouncing back that there's an aircraft.
No, it is like it's still like it's. I think they said it's like it wasn't bad radar. Like the radar thing. I think they said like a range of 200 miles. Maybe it was more than that. I can't remember. I remember seeing 200 miles somewhere, but I can't remember exactly.
I guess it's probably like hard even in radar to like get the frequency like with all the weather going on too. You're just like it's probably difficult to.
Well, they were still getting the radar returns. They knew it was a plane or something. Like they knew what it was.
Well, they knew where Avenger Red was all the time.
Yeah.
The radar is going to pierce the cloud and stuff and give you it's going to give you something back. I just don't know if it's like how I knew it. I went and looked. It was like in the 35. They put it in the air for the first time on those old fucking ship planes. So we're 20 years post that, so we're moving pretty quick past World War II. So I imagine it's giving you something back.
Yeah. So Avenger Red, Felix Moncla, and Second Lieutenant are like, they actually requested that the intercept be called off because of the poor radio signal. Like, they were just getting intermittent radio transmissions from command, and like they were just like, can we go ahead and, you know, can we call this off? But apparently,
and honestly, like, realistically, they're going out there to intercept and visually see this thing, and they're like, we have to fly 30,000 feet because we can't fucking see in this cloud and how bad it's snowing. They're like, what are we gonna fucking see? Like, that's probably what's going through the head. Like, you want us to see another plane in this cloud cover going 500 miles an hour? Like, get fucked. We're not gonna see shit.
But like, from their communications, it was kind of put on them. I guess they said, like, to Avenger Red, they're just like, proceed at your own discretion. And
basically, they're like, chicken. Yeah, you want to come back? Do it, chicken.
Like, get
you
the
feel
fuck
like
out
it.
There. It's like, you have a choice, but there's not really a choice. Like, you're going.
They're like, I guess we'll just send Avenger Black if it's too hard for you.
Yeah, it's like, I guess we'll just let the Ruskies invade North America. When that happens, when Stalin's in the White House, I guess it just will be your fault.
Yeah, I guess you can say you helped them, comrades.
Thanks.
See you back at base.
Das Vidania. So despite that poor radio signal like coming through, apparently they were still maintaining like a strong radar return from Avenger Red like throughout their flight. Like, they were still tracking them on radar pretty clear, aside from the radio transmissions, like being able to communicate with them. So 6:52 p.m. Avenger Red is like their radio to them, and they tell them like exact position. They said that they should see their target at the 11 o'clock position, about 10 miles out. And then Keweenaw,
okay, thanks.
Keweenaw radar site said they gave them like another range and heading report, but they didn't get a response back. And they continued to kind of tell Moncla and Avenger Red that they would see their target moving from left to right, so from west to east, and like, if they didn't see it, they were going to make another pass. But again, there was no response from Avenger Red. So 6:55 p.m. they're still tracking them on radar, like we mentioned before. So you're still getting a clear radar return.
So they're still flying at this point.
Yeah, they know they're still up in the air, and they know they're still there, but they're still not getting any radar. They're not getting any radio communications from Avenger Red. So they observed Avenger Red's radar signal converge with this unknown target, and basically to the point where they became a single dot on the radar screen. So they're like the radar site is waiting for them the two dots to separate on radar, thinking that, Avenger Red had possibly either like pulled near the target or like over the target or something. And like was going to just go ahead and pass over. However, like right after the two blips merge, the IFF signal on Avenger Red was lost. It's gone.
And they still got a radar ping from the other craft flying west to east.
So the crafts merged together on the radar.
Yeah.
And then never separated.
And Avenger Red doesn't show up ever again on radar.
Avenger Red's signal doesn't come back because their IFF disappears. It's gone.
And that's like messaging back, right? Yeah. So like every single time. So it's
so repeated calls to the pilot to Avenger Red go unanswered. So then I believe it's like Kinross like reached out, like so you've got three radar stations out here, and the one that was tracking them says like reaches out to another one and says that can you guys try to contact Avenger Red? But since you guys are a little bit closer, like maybe you guys can be able to contact him and get through. But also, again, reported no success from the other radar sites as well, contacting Avenger Red. Now so they're like, okay, well, one jet, we're not sure where it is. Like, we still need to kind of get confirmation. Now we need to, now we have two mysteries on our hands.
Well, and the thing is, like, right away you can cancel. You're like, if this thing collided with this other aircraft, like, you got to think, like, both beeps would be gone.
If they collided,
right?
for sure.
If they collided, you'd be like, okay, well, they're both got to be gone, right?
But you still got
yeah.
Swallowed
or whatever this thing was blew right through it.
Yeah, or it's like, right? There's something happened. Something happened. Obviously, something happened at Avenger Red at this time because their IFF is gone. So,
sure. Well, I guess we should say if they were the craft of the same make, like material and combustion and everything, then boom, they're going down. If they clipped wings or something.
Oh yeah, both gone.
So the second F-89 that was on the 5-minute alert status was commanded by Lieutenant William Mingenbach. And so after returning back from dinner, I guess around 7 p.m., he had requested permission to go ahead and go on a combat air patrol mission, CAP. And so at 7:15, like, Mingenbach was airborne, and they gave him the call sign Avenger Black. And so it was while he was up in the air that he learned that they had been unable to contact Felix Moncla's Avenger Red, their aircraft. Like, they've lost communication, and they weren't getting an IFF back. So he was tasked with Lieutenant Mingenbach was tasked with going out there and now confirming, like, hey, you need to go out there and take a look and figure out what's going on. Go to their last known position and try to initiate radio contact with Avenger Red. So 7:35, apparently, like, Mingenbach and his radar operators, since it was a 2-person jet, believed that they had heard a radio transmission from Avenger Red, and they said
it was like a half sentence. Like, they said they picked it up in the middle of a sentence. It sounded like, and like, so they didn't really understand the gist of it or what it was saying, but they recognized the voice before it cut back.
Yeah, they thought that it was Felix. It sounded like Felix Moncla's voice, so they're like, that's them. Like, that's something of them. But then again, cut it out. And then so Avenger Black was tasked with going to the last known location and like move to a lower altitude to investigate, like, what happened. Like, because obviously, like, at this point they're like, we might have lost a jet here, so you need to get down there and you need to see if, like, if you can see any potentially wreckage or something.
So we're 20 minutes post losing radar. They think they hear a transmission that sounds like them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what the timetable says. So Avenger Black gets down a little bit, and so due to there were some problems. So I was talking about the F-89C. So the F-89C's some of its, like, engineering issues apparently was that it had a lot of trouble with icing. Like, it was known with, like, icing on some of the intakes,
which is good for this type with this area.
Yeah, it's really good for this area because you're like, this is the place that you would need it.
Notorious for, like, ice storms.
So they were known that like some of the, like, there could be icing around the edge and like this could happen. And specifically the F-89C that Moncla had been piloting, like, that one, I guess had not been equipped with what was kind of standard on later models of an F-89, which are like these retractable engine screens that would keep them from icing, like, or reduce the chance of icing. So they were like, as they kind of got this, like, you have Lieutenant Mingenbach in there trying to look for them, and like the snow kind of starts coming in. So you have these intermittent, like, snow flurries, like, coming in and these snow showers, and he's just making it totally difficult. He's like, we can't really see anything below the clouds here. Like, where visibility is extremely limited and we can't really see anything. So, but the, home base kind of says, like, well, you guys go ahead and circle the area and wait, like, and see if they show up or something happens. So if you have like Avenger Red has been at this point, like, they have him fly around and kind of keep in the air. But by 8:07 p.m., they estimate that Avenger Red would have been completely out of fuel at this point. So, and they haven't shown back up.
It's not a lot of fuel.
No, it's not.
Well, because they were out at 6:55 was the blip, and we're at 8:07.
And they're like, they're out of gas. I'm like,
well, I mean, that's an hour and a bit. Small jet. They probably didn't have a huge tank.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they were just mainly. Yeah, they were probably made for like they're fast intercept craft. So it's like you're not going to be up in the air like really for a long time. Like you
5 minutes out, 5 minute escort, 5 minutes back, maybe a little longer. So 1 hour, you're toast.
Yeah.
No room for error.
So this is when the officer in charge, Captain William Bridges, notified like base operations and the Kinross Air Force Base that they had an overdue craft, which is like we don't know where it is, which is like a big deal because you're like we don't have we've lost a fucking jet. Like
and
we don't know
two
where they are.
pilots. You're like, where the fuck is like you like want to rescue them if they're hurt or they landed somewhere, right? And you have just no fucking idea at all. You just nothing, vanished.
And and they had put like two more. They had put like another couple jets like up in there, like up in the air. So they put like Avenger Purple, which was Second Lieutenant Nordeck and his radar operator. Apparently they put them airborne around like 7:45 as well. And they had also joined in the initial search to kind of find out where it was. But like 8:50, 8:55, Avenger Purple and Avenger Black returned to Kinross Air Force Base. And so then like about like an hour later, about 10 p.m., that's when they start like the search kind of in earnest to kind of start coordinating search and rescue operations. They contacted, I guess, like the Eastern Area Rescue Coordination Center in Ontario, the United States Air Force.
Joint effort. It's over the Great Lakes. They're like, they don't really know whereabouts. I mean,
you'd have to notify, across the border. You'd be like, hey, like we've lost a jet. Might be on your side, might be on our side.
Yeah, you're like, we have no idea where it is.
Yeah, but we need you guys we need everybody all hands on deck to try and find these guys. They got the U.S. Coast Guard out there, which apparently provided at least like one SA-16 aircraft and a surface vessel to go out there and look. That was the U.S. Coast Guard Woodrush ship, surface ship, and then you had another two SA-16s from the 49th Air Rescue Squadron, and they all carried out pretty much like a square search in the area, like at night, like for where it was,
looking for smoke or fire,
anything, looking for wreckage on the water. But like within that,
so this is for sure on the water, right?
Yeah,
so it's for sure over the water.
That's where they're searching. Yeah,
that's where they're searching.
Like
they have like two great, basically, because they're like with their training, they were like, okay, if they would have run into a problem, the training would have been to turn back. So they kind of like mapped out, if they went down right after the radar blips, or if they ran into error and would have turned back and crashed. So they had like these two basically cross huge squares where they think that these maneuvers possibly could have taken place as a starting point.
So with these, like this huge search and rescue operation, like they didn't find anything that night, but there were a couple of reports of what might have happened, and might have, like, there were other calls and reports of these things, of these jets, and we'll get right back to those after the break.
We're back. What happened to the missing plane?
So in the following days after the disappearance of Felix Moncla and his radio operator Avenger Red, their jet, you had multiple newspaper articles following up, covering the thing, because you can't just lose a jet and then nobody knows about it.
It starts to go critical. It's like, what happened to it? How do we not know? What do you mean there was an unknown radar blop? Like starts popping off.
So you had like multiple newspaper
every street
articles.
corner was like, here it is, come quick, the missing plane, 25 cents, find out about a missing plane, the anomaly in the sky.
And there were like a number of like, they received like a number of, possible reports of like what could have been an airplane crash. I think like 2 train operators called in to the local newspaper and said, "Oh, we saw something crash into like a mountain, like into a hill on our side. Thought it was an aircraft." And like these things were investigated. Like there was like it wasn't that many reports. It was maybe like 3 or 4, like probably what were deemed valid or that could have been probable. That it might have been Moncla's jet, and they were investigating and they looked, but it's like nothing. Like they couldn't find anything, no wreckage or thing like that, and it's just like you couldn't. They're just like that shit's gone,
vanished, legit vanished.
Yeah,
we got this is the original Flight 370.
Yeah, it is, and it
gone
again. The thing for me, the weirdest thing, as we kind of, we'll get more into it, but it's like. The second those radar, like they converge into one disappeared, gone off the face of the earth.
The other one continued on.
And the other one continued on. And they're just like.
Now, that was actually my question. Now that you said that. So they converged, the other one continued on. Did they track? Where did that one end up?
It's just that one was like
where'd the
out
blip?
of there.
How'd the blip go?
Like eventually that one just kind of went off their radar. And just like, okay, well, it's
like, but they didn't follow that. That was it. They already lost. They lost one ship, one aircraft. So they're like, that's enough.
Like, that's
so
enough.
some reports that I read that this plane, because it was Canadian Air Force Base or Royal Canadian Air Force plane, had it landing at like an airbase like nearby. So like that's where it was stationed. But again, these are all unconfirmed reports. Like there is no hard evidence that plane was in fact this like bloop what they saw on the radar, right? Whatever they picked up on radar, there's nothing confirming that it was in fact 100% this plane. There's no documentation.
And they did
no nothing.
And they had, I think the pilot, like you're like, okay, well, what about the pilots of the actual plane? Well, it's like they actually did get interviewed at some point, and they interviewed those pilots, and those pilots said, we never saw a jet. Like we never saw F-89. If the radar is to be believed, and like our specific flight, like we were up in the air at that time, but we didn't see any jets. Like we didn't see anybody up there while we were up there. So it's kind of. You're like, okay, so what was that thing, and what happened to Moncla?
And his the other thing is, because I read one of those things with the pilots, and it was like it didn't even ask what they were doing 30 miles off course. Like it didn't seem like, from like my reading of it and my understanding, it was like this plane may have not even been off course, like the radar's saying it was. Like it kind of feels like this might be a cover story to try to. Maybe calm swelling panic at the time, right? But it's like there is nothing really that's like, well, why were you 30 miles south of where you were supposed to be in this plane? They're like, well, the wind was drifting. There's no explanation. So it's like they don't even ask those guys why. Like, why would they take that route, right? It wasn't.
And this is like, and if people remember, like, this is not the first time that we've had like a UAP, like, and a aircraft disappear. Cause I mean, the one before, like just a couple of years before this, like 1948, you had the Mantell incident where you had Captain Thomas Mantell, which we talked about in an earlier podcast. We talked about that incident where he was like, chasing, right? He was chasing one, like chasing a UFO that they had sighted, and then he had actually crashed while, wreckage was recovered, but he had crashed, pursuing this aircraft. So this is like the first time that we had a plane that had been potentially lost because of a UFO. So again, like they're not finding this aircraft anywhere. And so like after a number of days, they're like, well, like, it's like, it's gone. Like the only thing that we can assume is that it hit the water or something happened, like that shit's gone, and we're not able to find anything. It's gone. Like, and those two KIA, like, but 15 years later in 1968.
Yeah. You didn't think it ended just like that, did you?
Yeah. Like, it's not over.
You also didn't think we were going to time down 15 years. Cause you're like, they're going to find this jet, right? Cause there's 2 missing like airmen. No.
So,
No.
yeah, this is where it gets even more interesting, because it's 15 years later in 1968, about like a little over 100 kilometers north of Sault Ste. Marie. Prospectors were exploring Cousins Cove, which they said that they discovered aircraft wreckage on the shores of Lake Superior. So, like, I guess Ontario Provincial Police had identified that stabilizer from the wreckage and determined that it was of military construction. And a spokesperson for the Sault Ste. Marie Airport also, I guess, backed them up on this, on that assessment. And like this, that the plane or the material
prospectors are like, this was so out of the prospectors are like, I think this is from that old F-89 Scorpion back in 53, dag nabbit.
Well, it's like, I guess like
the flight that nobody fucking would have known about in 1968 off the top of your head. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way that these guys are just 15 years later, they're just like,
no, someone at the airport, like a spokesperson at the airport, just said it seemed to be made with heavier metals than a standard aircraft, like for faster acceleration. So it's like military grade.
Yeah. And I guess Major J.H. Parker of one of the air base out there, U.S. Air Force Base out there.
And the cockpit, we're the pilots.
We're the bones.
We're the bones of the pilots.
Still gripping.
Gripping. Unmoved
with their flight suits intact. So like
when they opened the cockpit, the jaw came loose, and they both the skeletons kind of fell out in a lurching manner. Scared the old prospectors.
They said that this stabilizer likely belonged to a military jet, but I guess a couple of other reports like determined that it was unlikely to be part of the missing F-89.
Well, what jet was it then?
Well, you know what? It's funny. I guess there's a little bit of history of jets crashing into the Great Lakes. Not the first time it's happened. They crash in there,
No, honestly, a little bit. Especially Lake Superior.
It's a little bit of a problem.
So if you've ever driven through Canada or like through Ontario, you enter Ontario and it's Lake Superior. And you drive for almost 2 fucking days, and it's still Lake Superior.
Yeah, you're so tired. You're like, if I have to see this lake for another day, I'm going to drive.
Right into it.
But imagine flying.
The lake is so big. The lake looks. It's an ocean. Like you can't. It's huge.
It's a great lake for a reason.
Well, I mean, they're all Great Lakes, but Superior is the right
Listen,
name.
We're all Great Lakes.
They're all Great Lakes.
Right?
We're an inclusive lake group. We're an inclusive group.
Every lake is great in its own reasons.
So that's what they're saying. But then Lake Superior itself is like, nah, you guys have to shit on me.
It is.
I think Lake Superior has.
It's why it's called Lake Superior.
It has more water than all the other lakes combined.
It has more water than all of other water.
Yeah,
it has all the water in the world is in Lake Superior, I believe. Actually,
yeah. More water in the entire world.
The entire world in one lake.
Don't quote us on that.
Quote Dan. Dan told you.
Yeah.
Fact checked.
But so the saga for the search for the F-89 does not end there. It's not done yet. So in September of 2006, there was an email sent to Francis Ridge at the UFO organization NICAP, which, if everybody remembers, is the proto MUFON, which claimed that a dive salvage company, which was at the time called identified as the Great Lakes Dive Company, had discovered what seemed to be the mostly intact wreckage of an F-89 jet on the bottom of Lake Superior.
There's just a dive company. What company is this? Is this a real company?
Great Lakes Dive Company.
They just happen to be diving.
Listen, how much work is there? How much work is there for a fucking dive company in the Great Lakes?
Apparently, if you're crashing all of these jets into the Great Lakes, I assume there's a business for salvage.
Wait,
well, I guess
UCC acquires Great Lakes Diving Co. in July 27th, 2022.
Is it Diving Co. or Dive Company?
It's Diving CO. Dot.
Right. So this was the Great Lakes Dive Company.
Oh, dive.
It's different. They're distinct.
A little different.
Okay, well, then it's bullshit. Then it's fake news.
So I mean, just salvage isn't that, because I mean, you lose so much shipping containers in the normal oceans, like in Lake Superior, and them are pretty bad too. I would assume like you get some wicked waves, yeah, might get some salvage.
But just what are the chances?
Dan, are you conjoining my bull shark theory with some sort of standing wave theory?
Oh wait, okay, back to the bull shark theory.
Yeah, wait.
You're like, wait, is this some type of shark
standing wave?
Is this a Sharknado theory?
Yeah. We're getting there.
Yeah, because November is known for Sharknado season. Yeah. So I mean, okay, so you get you're a UFO organization, and you get an email from this Great Lake Dives company. You're like, okay, well, why would you send this to me? This F-89 thing. So apparently it was sent to them specifically because this dive company said they had set up like they had been doing, some underwater sonar scanning, and they
were looking for a boat, right? They were looking to salvage a boat. That's what I thought.
They were scanning. Yeah, they were scanning down on the bottom of the water, and they had these sonar scans, which were like sonar scan images, that they said they had found what looked like. And if you look at them, like you can pull them up online, you can look up concerning this event, like the specific event. You can see these, and you see the profile of what looks exactly like an F-89, like the side profile of an F-89, nearly completely intact. And then right underneath it, there is a metallic disc, or what they said was a metallic disc, just a short distance away from the main wreckage, or from the aircraft wreckage, within on that single image.
A metallic disc. Wait. So what do you mean a metallic disc?
That's what it says.
It looks exactly what it looks.
That's why they were saying that they sent this to NICAP, the UFO organization, because it's like this had always, UFOs being involved in this event had always kind of been, there, like a possibility, that these have been, this event had always kind of been looped in with UFO activity. So they were, like, this is the proof. This is what we've been looking for. Like, this is what is going on. Yep, that's the one right there. So Brayden pulled it up on the stream. Those of you who are listening.
Wait, is that the disc, that tiny piece on the side?
Yeah, right there. Yeah, the one down at the bottom.
Okay, that's not what I was thinking.
No, yeah.
That's just a piece of the plane, if that's a plane.
Yeah, that's what I kind of went with too. Like when I was like, I don't know if I'd call that. This is so much smaller.
Why is that picture so bad?
Well, it's underwater.
They never brought it up? They never brought it up?
This is just a sonar image, apparently. This is
that's the sonar image that they
that's
sent.
Bullshit. I could be anything. They never floated it?
So,
this Great Lakes, I'm telling you, this Great Lakes Dive Company, this is a government shell corporation, just for misinformation.
They're like, you know what? They're like, someone is coming across the desk. They're like, hey, we still haven't come up with a good cover story for that plane crash 70 years ago.
They got a FOIA request. I'm like, we need something. We need something for this. Let's forge a fake diving company that was somehow diving here and give them a bullshit sonar image that kind of looks like a plane. That'll do it.
So they even, the Great Lakes Dive Company even claimed that they were unable to use their side scan sonar, because to get better images of this object, because the object was emitting some type of radiation.
Of course it was. How else you can't get down there?
And they also claimed that they were denied access to the site by the Canadian government. What don't you guys want us to know?
What was this?
What don't you guys want us to know?
What? That's probably Avro Aero down there. They're like, we're not letting.
Wait, was this? So this was on the Canadian side.
Yeah, it's ours.
Yeah,
because isn't the border right down the center of the lake?
But it was I think it was on the northern side. Like it was more.
But it's also a Canadian company.
No. Is it Canadian? Was it Canadian?
Yeah. Well, maybe I don't know. Actually.
Yeah,
I guess it wasn't .ca, so probably American.
Yeah, they split the Great Lakes right down the center, except for fucking Lake Michigan. We give you that one, I guess. Yeah. Fine. Why didn't they could have split that one too? Why not? Could have split them all. Make it fair. Fucking America.
I'm
stuck on the Great Lakes Dive Company because it just says Great Lakes Dive Company. It doesn't say like so and so of the. There's like no name attached to it. This is just like the Great Lakes. There's no like the CEO of Great Lakes Dive Company. Like there's not. It's just the Great Lakes Dive Company.
There is a name attached. Adam Jimenez.
Yeah,
that sounds fake as hell.
As he's like the CC.
So
don't say that only because I hesitated on saying the name. I said it as if I was making up a name because I couldn't. I had to take a second to sound it out in my head before I said it.
The Jimenez part.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, Adam.
Is there an interview with this guy? Is he a real person? Do you guys have a picture?
So James Carrion, who is the head of MUFON at the time, also like had some of this information, like started to investigate these claims and, doing their due diligence as they would as a well-established and reputable civilian UFO investigation organization. And he discovered a couple of inconsistencies with what was going on here.
I knew it.
Number one, there's no company registered as the Great Lakes Dive Company in Michigan.
These
in
fuckers.
Michigan, there was no company. No one had ever heard of Adam Jimenez, who was the person who was like the name that was attached to the emails. And the Canadian government denied claims, but they denied access. They denied claims that they had denied access to a company of that name, and like they had no records of contact with this company. But
who?
Yeah, what? And the original email that had been sent to Francis Ridge apparently contained what they ascertained was a phony hoaxed Associated Press story, which had never been released, never existed, about this wreckage. So it was determined that this was a hoax. Like somebody had
fucking called it. There you go,
man. That's a pretty interesting hoax. And listen, all I'm saying is, whatever political leaning you have in Canada, you should vote for the party who's going to give access to the site to the Great Lakes Dive Cove. Whether that be the Conservative, the Liberals, whoever's going to vow to finally let the Great Lake Dive Co. in there. That's who I'm voting for.
If that's not on the platform, I'm going to be very upset.
Yeah. Could you imagine somehow we weasel our way to like a press conference and we're like, we got a question. What's your stance on allowing the Great Lakes Dive Co. to access the restricted site to recover
the F-89?
F-89 and this unknown saucer.
Get this man out of here. Get out. Arrested.
YouTube ban.
At that point, the fucking RCMP on a horse busts into the courtroom.
The two of them, they just drag you up. But
they polo stick you out of there.
They just like scoop you up by your shoulders, like two of them on each side, and just like take off.
You can't hide the truth. It's basically how it would go.
Yeah, I mean that's gonna happen. So so they're trying to there are a lot of questions about this event that they're kind of like left over, and you're like, yeah, what was this thing? Like even they tried to like extrapolate exactly like where this aircraft was heading, like just by where it was going, like on its its direction and speed or where it was going. Like the only place like they could possibly be on the heading that it was going was the commercial airport, I guess, in Sudbury, Ontario, which didn't open until 1954. It wouldn't open until the next year. And it was still under construction in 1953. But like the runway had been completed, and it was like, it did kind of serve for an emergency landing facility. But if there were an emergency landing, I think somebody would have known about it. Like, yeah, you would have heard something. And then like the nearest Canadian military base would have been the North Bay, I guess, station, or RCAF station North Bay. But that was about 75 miles to the east. So, this thing is like, where was it going? If it was
nothing, really adds up. If it was this craft that they say.
And so, like we said, like it's not the first time that a jet has gone missing because of a UFO, potentially because of a UFO. The Mantell incident, I think I remember correctly, like the offered explanation for the Mantell incident was that Mantell had climbed too far too fast, right? And he had suffered from hypoxia.
And then it stalled out the plane.
It stalled out the plane.
But the wreckage was found and located.
Right. So they had the wreckage and he crashed in like a farmer field. So it was like, it was something like this. So there is some talk of this is perhaps kind of what happened with Moncla. Like there's some talk of like Moncla potentially suffering from vertigo. Is what I was seeing, is that there was potentially
and the vertigo caused the second blip. Somehow.
And then he got in the clouds and all of a sudden he was flying upside down.
My God!
I love how instantly, like, I remember we had a pilot like message us and being like, those explanations that people get that confused is insane. Like that doesn't happen. I remember someone wrote it. I think it was our pilot correspondent.
Well, I mean, it happens when you're flying close to land, close to the ground. Sure, you can get lost of you think up is down and left is right and whatever, and you can crash into a mountain. That happens.
But don't you have instruments that are like...
Yeah, but what happens...
You'd be like...
What happens is...
wait! Or like gravity, you're like, wait, why am I...
No, and like
being sucked
in a stressful environment like that, people question the instruments and go with their judgment. Like, there's no way that's right. Well, there's no way I'm upside down right now. Right, and they'll turn the yoke or whatever, and they'll crash into a fucking mountain.
They pull the use the force loop.
Well, that's what they call. That's what they said happened to Kobe Bryant. Right, he's in a helicopter in bad weather, and the pilot.
He tried to fly it.
He kicked the pilot out. He grabbed the controls. The pilot, because it was really bad weather, but they requested to fly anyway. So whatever, and the pilot thought he didn't trust his instruments, and he was upside down, and he flew into a mountain. Right.
I'm not. Listen, I'm not laughing. I'm laughing at the prospect of being like not realizing you're upside down, because I feel like you would know.
Yeah.
Even if you couldn't see, because gravity, you'd be like.
I don't know if he was upside down, but he didn't trust his instruments, and he went the other way through intuition. He's like, no, this is right, and he went boom, and he flew into the mountain.
That's terrible.
So it happens, but.
Yeah,
rare.
But it's like, it's like rare, and it's like they had, they had intermittent radio. It's like when you lose radio communication with your aircraft, like you don't know what's happening, and it's like they're already out there, and they had already kind of like. I mean, that's the least of your worries. Like, honestly, like I'm just saying, like, imagine for military. It's kind of nice to lose radio connectivity. Thank God. I don't have to fucking answer these fucking assholes. It's not like you go like, we've lost radio. Nosedive. Like straight down. Like just abandon it. Like, or like you can't talk to the base for a little bit. Like I imagine it's not that pressing for you. Like I mean, they got to check in though. It's like, it's just like, there's something like you got to check in. They got to know where you are. And I mean, especially you'd want people to know like where you are. Like, but it's not like you're doing emergency maneuvers because you were like, we lost radio contact. Turn the plane as hard and fast as you can until we get it back. And they probably, I mean, it's like, it's not like they were doing any like super crazy flying or anything like that. It was just kind of like, you need to go and get over this area and whatever. They weren't doing any high speed maneuvers or anything like that. You're like, you just need to fly straight here and, go down a little bit and check for this plane. But they were out of radio communication for a while or within range of this object that was on the radar. And then, they completely lost radio communication. Like it was already intermittent and you could blame it, somewhat probably lay it on the weather conditions. But like once they got within range of this, closer to this object, completely losing radio communication, with the jet, bit strange. And then, the IFF is gone, like just gone. Well, see, and that, like, my thing is, I'm like, even today, well, with the technology and everything that we have, there's no sign of this jet. We've never found it. We don't know what happened. This is a mystery. So, like, in my head, how I feel, like, when I read this is like, these two things were converging. They dropped down to an altitude to try to get a visual on this thing. And as they were going, either they flew right in front of this thing and this thing blew through them, like, and did not stop, and either had some sort of force field or something that just vaporized
this other plane. Like it just was not built, and so there was no pieces left to find. Like it just rained tiny little debris around, and it's like we've heard like if you think about like Battle LA and the weather balloon that withstood 1,200 artillery shells, and like we've heard of these crafts like having some sort of force field around them. Like would it be crazy to jump at, like, if you're going UFO realm, that this thing has something where it just like in this mid-air collision just obliterates our technology, like in our metals, just like,
and like even if they had crashed, I'd imagine like there would have been some debris. There would have been even like a fuel smear of some type. Like there would have been fuel on the surface, like you would have like from the jet
and it was
itself.
spread
Like,
pretty big.
Something, but it was like,
and it was clear. It was clear enough the next day that they were flying low altitude flights.
Yeah,
looking over the water.
Like I mean, it might have been. Like I don't even think
they didn't have a lot of fuel.
Yeah, they didn't have a lot of. But yeah, it's just it's very strange that you have something like this happening. Especially, it's just like they as soon as they got like the blip overtook, like they were right together. It's like you'd imagine like once they were like doing the maneuvers, like maybe like going down, like if they told them. Like even if they're receiving still the radio communications, they said, "Okay, go down," and then that's when attack a vertigo or something like that. But it's like they got right on top of the object. Like they were so close together that they were like a single blip on the radar return,
and then never a separate blip ever again.
And then once, then they never separated, and the IFF for F8, Avenger Red was gone.
If we're talking coincidences, what a fucking coincidence!
What
that happens?
It seems strange that if you're intercepting, sure, but I imagine you would still have a safe operating distance. So what compelled them to get that close? Like tractor beam, anti-dimensional, is that even a word? Yeah, interdimensional weapon where it just fucking boop, gone. Vaporized. Yeah. But not actually vaporized, they just teleported to a different dimension.
But the most plausible thing is probably Braden's bull shark theory. What is the bull shark theory?
What is it? Let's get to the bottom. Let's get to the meat of the episode.
Yeah,
let's get to the meat of the episode. The bull shark theory.
First off, I want to get in the one thing, as you said, like the only thing that would go against something eviscerating this plane and like leaving no trace midair, and so this thing doesn't vanish like at all, is the fact that the Avenger Black. Later on, they like pick up a muffled radio transmission of like a half sentence, and they don't know what the context is, but like they recognize the voice, which then that kind of made me think of like, did this thing get transported somewhere? Did it hit some sort of fucking triangle portal that it went somewhere else, like in time? Because these people still got a radio transmission. So like maybe this other plane, Avenger Black, was like near whatever anomaly they went through that caused this issue, and so they're still getting radio transmission back through this anomaly that this plane passed. Because, like, listen, there's missing ships, there's missing planes all over the world that vanished without a trace. This isn't, and there's all sorts of different wild theories on why. But if we kind of go into the realm of really crazy, like, is that a possibility that this plane flew through an anomaly? Then it's like, where are we? What just happened to us? Now they're flying around trying to figure out what's going on, doing radio transmission, and it's only picked up by Avenger Black when Avenger Black is close to whatever anomaly they flew through. And then as it passes and can't see them, it's gone, and the anomaly closes up. Whatever happened is gone, and these people are lost, from our plane of existence for all time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fucking weird.
Thought it was interesting.
And then the bull sharks.
Yeah, get to the bull sharks.
Well, listen.
All right. So what happened?
All right. So this is what I'm thinking. These guys are flying out, right? And we all know you've heard of a standing wave, right?
Okay.
So
freak wave.
Pogo.
Yeah, freak wave.
Freak wave, right?
Rogue. You mean a standing wave or a rogue wave?
I think standing wave's a rogue wave is the same thing.
A standing wave is a wave that doesn't seem to move. And it's usually small. Yeah. It's like a current. Where a rogue wave is like out of nowhere, like 100-foot wave just fucking takes your boat.
Yeah, so rogue wave. Okay. Rogue wave, right? Okay, these guys go down low. They're dropping altitude to get better sight, right? As they're getting real low, boom, rogue wave, right? They try to pull up
like a 25,000 foot rogue wave.
Yeah.
No. They're dropping down, right? Because like they drop down. Low? They're like, listen, because they're like, listen, it's too rough. In the clouds, there's too much snow. We got to drop further down. Like it's reverse, right?
We got to drop further down into the snow.
We got to be. We got to be like right on top of the water.
And then a rogue wave, right? As they go, 100-foot rogue wave. I think they call them one in a century. One in a 100-year wave. That's what they call them. I remember the news saying something. 100 years. A real meteoric river, atmospheric river. Right? On the lake flowing through. And so they're like, oh, what is that? What is that? Is that the cloud? They're like, that's water! Pull up! And as they're pulling up, bull shark jumps out of the lake water, clips the plane, down it goes. Right? If we're chalking up to coincidences, like, can we chalk that? Do we know that didn't happen?
Yeah, that's pretty.
Okay, I like this. I like it.
Right? Pretty close to Sharknado.
Right? I'm just saying they're territorial. Right?
Maybe it was like a water spout or something. It was like a water spout, and then like the bull shark like rode it up. And
I like that, Dan. The water spout. Bull shark goes
Sharknado.
And they're territorial.
Threw him at the wing.
No. They didn't throw. They're territorial, man. You get close to those things, they'll come for a bite, right?
In the air.
So just this bull shark bit the wing off the plane.
Hey, listen, I'm not a scientist. I'm not a scientist.
No, you're not.
I don't know. I'm just putting.
You are a UFO expert.
You are an expert, though.
Yeah. So I was like, you know what? If I had to put my money on it, I would say a UFO eviscerated it, but I don't know. It's that or the bull shark theory.
Right. So the bull shark was the blip on the radar.
Yeah, always. They're like, this is either a plane or a bull shark. We don't know.
We need you to confirm that this is a bull shark.
But I mean, it's a fascinating one because the fact that we still don't know. We have no idea. Never been found, never been explained. The records are loose, right? Like nothing really adds up. It's very strange.
I think Moncla and their report, like their deaths were just like accidents. Like it's just like they weren't even really sure what happened.
Yeah, but like, what's the accident? They're like, we don't know.
Yeah.
As far as I can find on the quick Google search, bull sharks haven't been found in the Great Lakes.
Right.
Probably because of the law.
Well, neither is this plane.
But as Dan said, the Mississippi one has been found as far as Illinois. So all the way to the start of the Mississippi.
I'm just saying the plane hasn't been found in the lake either. So we can't really.
So they're both the same.
Go by what's found in the lake.
Bull shark or the plane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The bull shark's about as believable as the fucking Great Lakes Diving Co. Okay.
Yeah.
But see, when you get into that, when you look at the quins, like this plane seemed to be obliterated midair. That's what makes the most sense.
It's gone.
That's what I'm chalking up to.
Now, that's another question. Because I have no idea. I've never even looked at it. I would no idea how to find out the answer. But if a plane was blown up in the air, would it not show multiple like radar signatures for a bit as that stuff fell out of the sky?
Hey, some might be too small.
If a plane got hit with a missile, it blew the wing off, and the plane's in 7 pieces, like 7 big pieces and a bunch of small pieces.
Right.
You think you would see that on the radar for a bit? I would think. I don't know.
Doesn't radar work? Hold on. And again, I'm stupid. But does radar when they're using the radar operators? Aren't they like kind of tracking the objects? So they kind of have to like guess where the objects are going to be as well. Like when they're
radar shoots
between the radar return.
Radar shoots a ping just like sonar off the object and comes back.
But don't you kind of have to have an idea? Like I can't just like look.
No,
it's not like a full 360.
Oh,
does it?
For sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If they have
I just didn't know. But is it like Call of Duty? Yeah. Is it actually like Call of Duty?
100%, man. It's exact same.
Yeah, it does that. It does that. Unless you have like one of those 360 radars that goes out, but it's still like a pulse. Like it's still you either have the rotating dish one, or you have the 360 one, like the dome.
And that's the whole thing with stealth fighters is they're made out of materials and shaped such a way that the radar signal doesn't bounce off of it. Kind of like just like either absorbs it or like disperses.
Returns very little. Returns very little that it's like, it looks like a bird. But this one, they're like, no, obviously, like it is like if that thing blew up, like I don't think you probably wouldn't get a good radar return. That would be gone.
I'm sure you would now because it's much more sophisticated. some type of like digital radar we have now, which is like continuous radar of some kind, I'd imagine. But yeah, I'm 55. The ping, I don't know how quick was the ping? Was it like every 10 seconds? Bing! In that 10 seconds, the plane wreckage is gone.
Well, the other thing is, I'm like, I would imagine that the whatever is left of this plane has to be small, where it's like it's never found, like never, it's never picked up. You know what I mean? Like, other than this one hoax of the sonar, like we have nothing of this, and it's like
if
it's not like this is Mariana's Trench. You know what I mean? Like it's
deep. I mean, let's figure it out. All right,
it is deep.
Lake Superior,
it's deep, but not. I don't think it's.
But you think some of it would float, but it's like, but like you guys said, like almost. Now think about it. I was like, Lake Superior is huge.
It's
like,
huge.
There's a large amount of shore that I'm sure is not covered every day by.
It's not even the shore. Let's say you're in like, say you're 20, 30K off the coast. Your plane blows up for whatever reason, falls in the water in a bunch of pieces. It does. This is a huge lake, has currents, and like it has
bull sharks.
It has bull sharks that are eating all the pieces or whatever. But it takes a long time for that stuff to float to the bottom. And in that time, the currents and stuff pull that stuff everywhere. And it's about 1,300 feet deep. Over this. And it's the size of country, like some countries. Like that's how big this fucking lake is. It's huge.
It's a big lake. Yeah. All right.
So unless you had massive resources to actually get down to the bottom, not in one of those subs that blows up when they're trying to get to the Titanic, but like a real good sub. Maybe you could find it.
But like Brayden said, it's also nuts that like they never really followed up on any of this. Like it's never like followed, like what exactly was that?
Oh, you know what?
Nobody identified what that blip was, like ever.
That's the biggest mystery of the whole thing is like there was a UFO.
Yeah, there was something on radar
that obviously seemed to destroy a fighter jet, and never followed up on it. Never looked in. They talked to the pilots of that one alleged flight, apparently, that the RCAF, the Canadian one, yeah. And
like,
that wasn't ours.
And they were like, well, we didn't see any jets. I mean, we were up in the air, but we didn't see any jet. And
could you imagine
if they were right on top of you, they would have.
Could you imagine they nicked it and they're just like, we're not telling anyone.
They took it to the grave.
And it's like their wings clipped and like their Air Force One just shredded through their wing. They're like, oh my God, are we okay? They're like, we're totally fine. And they're just watching this and like, whew. They're like,
it's like, they're going to make us pay for that.
Yeah.
They're like, we can't tell anyone.
You know whose jet that was? No, we don't say a word.
Yeah. That'll collapse our Royal Canadian military budget.
You didn't see nothing, eh?
It would clap. We were right. We're just developing the fucking, what was our awesome jet? Talked about it before.
The Avro Arrow.
Avro Arrow. We're just all our money is going towards the Arrow. We can't afford anything else. The plane was so good. The plane was so good that we just threw in the lake. I think we threw them in Lake Superior, didn't we? Or somewhere?
Checked them all.
Yeah, we did. And we were like, which is weird because we're like,
these are too good for the world.
Yeah, we're like, it was like, what's that? Hold on, what's that scene?
We're like, it's like Tesla with the death ray machine. It's like, this is too good. I'm going to burn it. Fun fact, actually, after doing some quick Googling about the depth, I said Lake Superior was 100% of the Earth's fresh water. I wasn't far off.
No.
It's actually 10%, which is insane.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
That's way far off from 100%.
No, but like 10% of the world's water, fresh surface water in one lake. That's insane.
Right.
Yeah.
You said 100%.
I know, but like I wasn't that far off. It's got a lot of water.
It does have a lot of water, yes.
10%?
And listen,
that's insane.
That's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot.
Back to the Avro Arrow real quick. Like the reason why we sunk it is because we're like, with this technology, it's a signal to the rest of Earth that we're ready for a higher form of war. And we're just like, no, we can't do it. Sink it. Like we're back to, we have nothing, guys.
Sink it. Check it in the lake.
But I know it's to me, I'm like, the only thing that really makes sense is that something obliterated that thing.
Yeah, it is a genuine UFO case because that was never identified about what that thing was and what we had on radar. Whether it is something that, I mean, UFOs of the Great Lakes is not unprecedented.
It's part of the Craig's Triangle, so you never know what could happen.
Yeah, it's in there.
Some people saying, it is a big lake, underwater alien base.
Maybe
it's a big lake.
No, it's not.
It's interesting. Look into it. It's fucking.
One more fun fact
bottling.
after I just did this quick Google on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to water my lawn 3 times a day anymore because Canada has 20% of the world's fresh water and only 0.2% of the world's population. So there's no reason I have to save water in the summer. Okay. This is insane.
Yeah.
Come on. My grass is dying out there.
You have you guys live on like an entire lake. It's right there.
Not just, we live like on a system of a million lakes. And you telling me that me watering my lawn is ruining the planet. That's insane.
Yeah.
Come on.
Meanwhile, every golf course in Canada has the luscious green grass you've ever seen.
You go down to City Park, they're watering 24/7.
Green grass.
You're like, this doesn't make any sense.
Anyways, that's enough fun facts about water.
Water usage.
You think World War III is going to be fought over, in the middle, like in Ukraine and Palestine and stuff? No, it's going to be fought over water in Canada. I'm telling you, it's all lining up.
Coming for it.
It all started with this fighter jet in 55. All right, it's been a long time coming.
Tasty water.
We'll get the truth out.
What don't you guys denied us access? You denied that dive company access. What are you guys trying to hide?
It'd be awesome if Canada was the one holding all the secrets to the UFOs this whole time.
Mm-hmm. He got a pretty big landmass up there. I mean, if there was going to be,
and it was all because, and for us, it was just kind of a joke. It's like, I won't tell them. It's fine. It'd be funny.
Don't tell them anyway.
It'd be funny.
They all think we're dumb.
What's a hangar? Like we have a secret hangar. That's it. Like a secret tunnel or something. I can't remember.
Yeah, it's just across the bridge here. It's called Brendan Mind. Brendan Mind.
No, there's actually there's a tunnel again, or a secret tunnel, or a secret.
It must be too secret if you can Google it right now.
Google it.
Well, it's like Area 51.
Here, Canadian Area 51.
It's a secret
It's where
tunnel?
they keep all the water. It's where they keep all the really good water.
I guarantee all the secret stuff in Canada is just built by the states. Like all the NORAD
we just rent it out.
We have all the NORAD installations all run by the states. I mean, affiliated with Canada, maybe a little bit, but for the most part.
We have one Canadian person.
Yeah, there's got to be one.
CFB Suffield.
You got to have one Canadian employee.
One Canadian person.
What's it called?
CFB Suffield. It's in Alberta.
That's your Area 51?
It's a military testing and training facility. Including chemical, biological.
The largest training area in Canada.
Super secret elite Moose Corps.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I this is in Medicine Hat. So when I went on tour with the band across Canada, we played in Medicine Hat. And I guess there was an international training like operation there. And all the soldiers went to the bar we were playing at. So we had soldiers from like England and the States and Australia and New Zealand, and they're all fucking wasted, man.
Hell yeah.
Just wait. It was the safest bar in all the world, though. Don't worry. Nothing bad's going to happen.
Nobody's invading there.
Except they all just fought each other all night long.
Yeah.
And the bouncers,
right.
I don't know if what the deal was, but I think it was like a thing like, it might be like just like a rite of passage of this like training mission that they go to the bar and fight each other. Because they never really got kicked out. The bouncers was like, all right.
What are they going to do?
Where was it? It was in Medicine Hat?
Yeah.
Right. Well, if they were right in the middle of the bar fighting, that's in the blind spot for anyone out there.
Yeah.
Right? They're looking.
Looking both ways.
They're looking everywhere, right? But what's happening? They're like hammerhead sharks in that part of the country.
Hammerhead. Bull sharks.
Only see on the sides, nothing in front.
Okay. I was like, wait, we was talking about bull sharks. Like you got hammerhead sharks in the middle of Canada.
What's your theory on the hammerhead sharks?
Now all of Braden's theories are going to concern sharks for the next month.
I just thought it was funny to throw it a random. Be like, this is random. Everyone
totally possible.
Have you guys be like, wait, what?
Totally possible.
What? I should have just at the end have been like, join Patreon if you want to find out the bull shark theory.
Yeah, if you want to hear more shark theories,
that's it. If you want to hear more shark theories, you got to go to alientheorist.com. You get hit the support tab. We got to the bottom of it actually on Patreon. Just don't sign up off your phone. That's it. That's the rule. You sign up off the desktop. Don't use the Patreon app, and you're good. Or you can just go to Supercast. They do the same thing. Just don't sign up off an Apple phone.
You can sign
anymore.
Up. Yeah, and you can sign up on the website, and you can take that RSS feed, right, and then you just put it on. You can use another app to.
Well, yeah, most people don't use the Patreon app anyway. You use Podcast Republic or
Castbox.
So if you don't,
Podcast Addict, I use Podcast Addict.
That's a great one,
and I just slap the RSS feed from the website on there, and I'm like, good.
Supercast. If you sign up on Supercast to support your boys, your favorite show, it'll actually automatically ask you what app you use, and it'll automatically put that on your phone. You don't have to even copy and paste.
That's pretty convenient.
Super easy. This week we're going to read some supporters from Supercast. A few beauties after the news. Switched over there. We got Stephen Wooding, Cameron Rodriguez, and Emma Jorgensen. Maybe it's Jorgensen. Not sure. But thank you very much for supporting the show. And as we always say at the end of these things,
keep those eyes on the skies.
There you go. Fucking zoned out. See you in after hours.
Yeah. See ya. We're back. No, you gotta bring some.
Huh?
Not into shit.
Are we in after?
I'll go be right start. I'll go be right back, and then I'll go. Oh, I'm back now.
After hours. Do you think the Baja Men were responsible for letting the dogs out, and they just created the song to divert attention to themselves?
What?
Who let the dogs out? For sure, they let the dogs out, man.
I had a list of every now and then I'll just go on and be like most obscure conspiracy theories that just to see if there's any funny ones that we could talk about, or like ones that like might hold weight. And that was one I had written down that I was like,
who
I
let
love
the
ones
dog
like
out?
this.
Who let the dogs out?
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
It's a great jam.
It's good.
Everybody was coming.
I don't know a single word after that. Who let the dogs out?
I don't think anyone does.
No
I don't think anyone.
People do. I think somebody was saying like originally like the song is meant to. At first, people thought it was like it was like not so great looking women at the club, or technically the
dogs.
The
dogs.
And then. But then they were saying that no,
Dan,
like the songs. The songs actually the songs. That's what people originally thought. But what it actually is about is like the guys who call those women like not good looking. It's about those guys.
They're the dogs.
Like they're the dogs. So it's like you're talking about the shitty guys at the club actually, and not women.
I thought the dogs. I thought the dogs were just the boys. Like who let the boys out?
That's what I always thought. Yeah, that's what I kind of thought too. But when you don't know the words, I mean,
This is
like,
that's why it's the greatest song ever written, because it could be interpreted so many ways.
What do you guys think about this one? So these are all from like conspiracy, like crazy conspiracies you secretly believe.
Okay.
And this is the next one. The human trials for preparations A through G ended in tragedy, and big hemorrhoids covering it up.
Preparation.
Okay.
So that's good.
I like that. I don't mind that at all.
Okay.
This is the Kardashian sisters keep their brother chubby so they can use his fat for their injections.
I didn't even know they had a brother.
I didn't know either.
Yeah, what's his face?
Is he fat?
Wasn't he married to Black China? No, he was married to Black China. Like that was his thing, right? That's the Kardashian brother, right? I'm not crazy.
I guess so. Yeah, I guess his name's Rob.
And then
Rob Kardashian.
Rob Kardashian. Yeah, that's him. I just remember because they had a whole drama with him and the lady's name, who's Black China is her name. I remember them having like marital issues and then child custody issues, and shit got crazy. I don't know. It's the Kardashians. Everything's crazy. Fuck, I hate those people.
Geniuses, got famous after
for nothing,
doing nothing.
Famous for nothing.
Wish I could do it. Can't.
Mattress firms are secretly money laundering operations.
Because you hide.
There's so many mattress companies.
Oh yeah,
I've heard they're always empty.
Yeah, I've heard of that one. That
that would be a phenomenal front though for money laundering operation.
It's true. Like how many mattresses do you buy in a lifetime? Like 2, 3?
Yeah.
Not a
lot.
I bought a mattress when I bought this house, so that was 8 years ago. I have no plans on buying another one anytime soon.
Yeah,
I flip it every couple of years, flip it around.
Yeah, dust her off.
It's fine. Like I hit it, pat it up.
Zell gets on there and he measures. He when you get the infections, you got to draw the red line around them. Zell's got that, but it's all on the yellow sweat stains on the mattress.
No, that's my pillow. The pillow's got the sweat stains.
Dude, pillows, it's so gnarly. When you look at mattresses and stuff, you pull it off, you're like, ew, did I pee? Like, what happened here? You're like, one day with cold sweat, your mattress is ruined.
I got a mattress. I got a nice bamboo protector. Keeps all the stains off. No, it's not a pee sheet because it doesn't have a crinkle. It just absorbs the sweat. Now, if you peed, I think it would go right through if you actually pissed the bed.
Listen, the bedwetting technology they have now is unbelievable. Because like when I was a kid, you couldn't even move on the bed.
Yeah. It was so loud.
It was so loud. You're like waking up your buddies,
neighbors.
Like everyone who came over to your house knew you had plastic sheets on. It was the worst. You might have been. It was like laying on fucking wrapping paper.
Yeah, it's just they just wrapped a mattress
trash bags
in fucking poly, like vapor barrier plastic. I'm like, that's good.
Yeah, industrial trash bags.
So if you peed on it, it would just pool in the middle.
Yeah.
You're swimming
in your piss.
It's running off the edges of the bed.
It just goes. It's not good.
Oh my god. Yeah, I can't wait to start doing that. Cleaning pee sheets all the time, middle of the night.
Speaking of peeing the bed, peed the bed last night.
Nice.
You did?
Speaking of.
No, I'm not sure why it hasn't happened yet. So daughter Nova has been potty trained now for 6 months, and she sleeps without training pants on at night, and she hasn't pissed the bed yet. I thought for sure.
I think it's more boys, to be honest.
Maybe
I think it's more prevalent in boys. I don't know.
Because when Steph was like, I think she doesn't need like a sleeping diaper anymore. I went, that's insane because we're just going to ruin everything. We like convinced me. I said, all right, I guess let's buy a new mattress if we have to. Hasn't pissed the bed once.
Support the money laundering in operation.
Not once. It's insane.
Money laundering, I guess. Like, I don't know.
I don't know how you that's a huge production. I guess like you have like those factories. Like, how do you launder the money though? You have to prove. You have to prove sales that you don't buy, that you don't have.
Yeah, but you could, I guess, because if you don't have the inventory and you're just saying it's like made up inventory.
No, because it wasn't like something about like returning mattresses. Like it was something like returning a mattress like within 30 days or something. I don't know. Like I can't remember what the whole thing was about. I know what Braden's talking about, like that thing. And I remember reading somebody like rational, like kind of laying it out to be like, if it's possible. And they'd be like, if you buy a mattress and return it or something. I don't know. It's like something weird.
Dude, but it's insane. It's insane how many, like, I think there's like 3 mattress stores in Camp Blue. I'm like, how do we have 3 mattress stores? It doesn't make any fucking sense.
Because you want to go to the night, you need to go to the nice mattress store, not the. You have to have like the upscale one. You gotta have the mid tier one, and then you gotta have the like not great
one. How about this one? In the Bible, when Jesus was being born,
okay,
here we go.
There were no room for his folks at the inn.
Right.
Sure.
So if time travel becomes real, one of the most popular places to visit would be Bethlehem when Jesus was born.
Oh.
The inns were full because of time travelers.
I like it. There was no room at the inn.
Yeah.
Wasn't the whole thing?
What fucking assholes, eh? Time travelers, you're like, well, I'm not giving up my booking.
I have a hard time. I just have a hard time believing the story that like, all right, the inn, you got this inn with a bunch of rooms, with maybe like a little lobby. And like where the employees work.
Buddy, it was a fucking Best Western.
Fucking Hilton.
No, but I mean, there's probably a room at the front before all the. It's not the Hilton. Damn.
That'd be like a tavern. There'd probably be like a little common room.
But why can't they just sleep in there and not in the stable?
I imagine it was like Lord of the Rings where they knock on the gate and the guy opens. What do you want?
Girl is so pregnant, she's about to pop, and you're gonna put her in the barn. Come on,
hell yeah.
That's no way.
It's too late.
Well, listen, hold on. You know what though? In all honesty, he probably took one look at her and he's like, because pregnancy was basically a death sentence back then. You're like, she's dead.
Yeah, and you don't want that. You don't want that mess.
I don't want a dead body in here.
Common room. You don't want it all over the. You don't.
What was the mortality rate? Like 50%.
Yeah.
Back then.
Yeah, it's not.
Wasn't good.
Yeah.
I thought
the year, I'm pretty sure they were escaping
0. They were trying, right? I gotta search the year 0 because that's when he was born. supposedly.
Yeah. Weren't they trying to avoid a census? Wasn't that the whole thing? Like, that's why they left. Like, they were trying to avoid a census. Like, something was going on. Like, I remember that. Like, that's why they left Bethlehem or something. Or
There's not really stats that go back that far. So,
well, I mean, they were like,
no, it's crazy. 300,000 women died of pregnancy or childbirth related causes in 2015 worldwide.
Yeah, it's not. Wow. It's still not like completely safe.
99% of those were in the undeveloped world.
Mm.
But still, that's insane. So that I guess you could say the undeveloped world would be similar to ancient world. Still better than the ancient world, though, because you still have at least knowledge of modern medicine, even if you don't have the actual like.
Well, at least we know how to wash our hands. Like,
there's such good. This one's good.
Yeah, we have to. Yeah, well, you should wash your hands before touching anyone inside their body.
You're like, okay.
Spit on
Let me in there. Well, this one. 7-Eleven was a part-time job.
Boo.
I like this one.
Try again.
Bitcoin was created by an established financial behemoth so they could run wild in an unregulated market with no consequences.
I mean, that's
Satoshi equals BlackRock.
Yeah. Doesn't. I mean,
I've always
if it wasn't then, it already is. Like, it's like
I've always been skeptical of the origin of Bitcoin. Just like, we don't know who made it.
Yeah,
it was Satoshi. Like, okay, just one guy made it. No one knows who he is.
Yeah,
there's no chance. It's impossible. One guy doesn't make anything nowadays, especially like technology like that.
Yeah.
You need a whole host.
And
of
it's
people.
like, yeah, it's also like it's based on the goodwill that people put into it, like the belief that people would like it works. Like, I don't like, it's not based on anything. Like,
Dan,
not even like GDP.
It's
no, but I'm like not even GDP or something like something like that's non-tangible kind of whatever. It's just a concept, but it's just like, no, people just believe that works. It's not based on GDP. It's not based on like gold standard. It's not based on anything. Like, it's just like
our money's not based on any standard. Our money's based in belief as well.
Yeah, sure.
Our money can also be created out of thin air, which is the big difference.
This one's a good one. I like this one. I actually believe this one. Just Stop Oil is run by Big Oil to make people hate climate protesters.
It's working.
I've seen that one. Well, I know I was reading somewhere that it's like, big, like those oil companies will actually fund like those places. Like, they'll throw money at them just to make them look illegitimate to, because they'll donate to them. They'll donate to these organizations
through like a shell corporation or something, and then
not even like they'll put their name on it because it'll be like, well, you guys are funded by this oil company, so how are you guys
like a GoFundMe or something, like fund us,
because it's like it costs them nothing. Like, it costs them like a little. Like,
here's $10,000. Nothing.
Yeah, and now you guys look like idiots because you guys are protesting. Like, people are like, well, you're getting paid by them. Like, and then that conspiracy comes out that Braden put out. It's like, you guys are illegitimate. You guys are just freaking actors. Like, so I don't know.
This is one I was thinking of. This one I'm just making up on the top of my head.
Sure. Bullshit.
I was at the grocery store and I was trying to find some granola bars that Roman could eat.
Okay.
And I was flipping it over and I was looking at the sugar contents, and then I noticed where it said like daily percentage, like, where it says like your daily requirement of sugar, and it was like 10%. And I was like, who fucking makes up that number of what should be the healthy dose? And I was like, 100% Big Sugar's lobbied to have that number way lower than it should be. Right? Like, can we all agree on that? Like, if you look at a bar and it's like sugar, like, I have a can. Oh, this is sugar-free Coke. But like if you get a granola bar and it's like sugar's added, and then it's like 10% of your daily requirement of sugar, and I'm like, is there a daily requirement of sugar that's only 10%? Like, I don't believe that. In my heart,
10% of your daily percentage of sugar.
Well, the average. I don't believe the average diet. So I'm going to say 95% of the world. You run off glucose. You run off sugar.
Yeah.
Natural sugar, fruits and breads and whatever else. But all that, like, if you go look at like all the health experts, they say X amount of added sugar per day is bad. So that's your Coke, that's your chocolate bars, that's all that stuff. But if you go eat and think about like natural fruit, you cannot really overeat.
Why are you personally attacking me?
If you eat,
because I see that Mars bar wrap right behind your shoulder on that back desk.
Mars bars? Can I see Mars?
It's a Snickers. Snickers.
He's hungry, right?
Snickers bar?
He's on a dieting challenge, right? He's trying he's trying his best, but he's got to have a couple snacks.
Eating only Snickers. Only Snickers. Snickers only diet.
No, but the dietary thing, it's so vague on the back of those fucking things. They don't really tell you much. Yeah, they say 10% of the sugar added. Oh, I can have 10 Mars bars a day.
I can't remember. Is there an
10 Mars bars a day?
There's no way.
International
You know what I mean?
body,
Like,
or is
there's
it like
no way.
Well, we have like
We have a national.
we
have a national. Health thing.
So do we. We have like the FDA. Like we have like Food and Drug.
Like let's be real. Like remember that food pyramid we all grew up with? That's fucking total bullshit.
Yeah, that was total bullshit.
Well, I mean they've admitted that that's not the right way.
They said that was stupid.
Yeah. They're like, we listen.
That should never been a thing.
Right. So it's like when I read that thing and I'm like, is it? And the fact, and I know it's all a fucking scam because like you eat a bag of chips. When I buy a full bag of chips, it should say, when you eat this full bag of chips, you fat piece of shit, this is how many calories. What it does is it makes you do math. It's like if you eat an eighth
I like what it says.
This bag of chips.
It says serving size.
No, I like what it just says per 6 chips.
Yeah.
And you're like,
is that what yours says?
Yeah, per 6. So if I eat
it'll
6
be like,
chips, I eat 12 chips, I eat 16
It'll be like per 23 chips.
Well, ours like is per like I don't know. I guess I don't know. Canadian. Canadian. If yours is different from like what our nutritional, like we have the nutritional fact thing.
Same thing. It's exactly
the same. It says per but it says per serving.
That's even harder because of what you're serving.
Well, that's what it says. It'll usually say serving, and then it'll say like 160 grams or
but if you're eating a bag of
30 chips, well, it'll say a Cheez-It, so it'll be like approximately. It'll say approximately 28 to 30 crackers.
Okay, so say it's exactly the same.
Yeah, something like that. But it'll say like serving size, but it usually gives the weight.
Ours is just called Health Canada, not FDA. Our FDA is just called Health Canada.
Health Canada.
Health Canada.
Right.
Very official.
Netflix marketing team releases memes about shows to give off the appearance that everyone is watching said show. Since the people have FOMO, they watch the shows to understand the memes until everyone eventually watches it.
That's just good marketing.
That's good marketing,
yeah. I just feel like that's just the marketing strategy. It's not a conspiracy.
Yeah.
I'd be like, why wouldn't you do that? You have a social media team like that does that and probably makes fake accounts and whatever.
Probably hires us bot farms to make it blow up.
Like,
hey, we should, if we could have the money to hire bot farms, we would. All right.
Oh yeah. I was like,
it's great. That's the interesting number, right? Like how much we did the dead internet theory, like how much of like, especially
traffic.
Like how much traffic, especially like political or like any type of those type of posts.
Well, how many like actual
is,
accounts?
Exactly.
Like how many accounts are actually bots?
Exactly.
Well, we'd have to distinguish between bots and people who are like people who have multiple accounts, I guess. Like,
but here's
I watched bot farms, the ones with like 10,000 phones on the wall, all connected to a central hub.
Yeah. But they all have like different accounts, but they're run by actual people. It's not like it's like it's a person going through and hitting all these. It's not like an actual.
It's one person that posts and it will auto post on all those accounts.
Yeah, because I watched. There was a thing popped up on Twitter, and it was this guy, and he was pointing out how some of these like really large influencers, like that stream on Kick and Twitch, like I can't remember the one guy's name he was looking at. John or something was I've never
good strong name, John,
real specific
John or something. And it was just like this young kid.
Not a million of those.
And like he was showing that like at one point it said he had like 100,000 people watching, and then at one point during the stream, like just an endless chat of all people were doing the same like emoji, like boom, 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 boom. And so he started to look, and it was like all the accounts were created on the same day, like the day before. All these accounts, every single one. You scroll up. Yesterday, and they're all doing the same thing. And he's like, this guy says he has 100,000 viewers, and he's getting advertisers, and advertisers are paying to advertise based on these views, which are all fake.
Did you guys read that article about the guy who was like streaming music and having like bots listen to it for like millions of bots listening to it? He made like $12 million like within a year or something
on like Spotify or something.
Yeah, something crazy.
That was a couple years ago though.
Was that? Yeah, but is he just getting tried now? Did he get sentenced or something? Because
I think he's getting tried now, or he's just getting sentenced.
Yeah, because I saw the article and I was like, holy fuck! I was like, that guy just like made $12 million just having bots listen to his own bot generated music, his artificially generated music. Like, what?
Did you guys see that shit? popping off about the Chase money glitch?
Money glitch? Infinite money hack?
God. Oh my God. Dude, when I explain this to you guys are going to be like, this is the most insane thing you've ever heard.
All right.
So
I don't know. I heard the bull shark one. That was pretty
People
insane.
said that there was some sort of Chase money glitch where you could get infinite money.
Okay.
So what they were doing, and they were doing this in droves, like lineups at Chase Bank, people trying to do this Chase money glitch. And what you would do is you would write yourself a check.
Sure.
Right? And you would deposit check and then immediately withdraw the money.
Okay.
Nice.
And there's their money glitch.
You write yourself the check?
Write yourself a check and then immediately cash it, like in the ATM, and immediately pull the money.
Well, you can. Well, I mean, in Canada, you can only do that to $500.
Only so, like, in I don't know, my bank.
There's no way that
only
works.
200 up to $200 is immediately available after you deposit a check.
So check fraud. That's what it is.
It's complete check fraud. There's no way that works. That's insane.
No. Well, it's like people
were trying this. Like,
they were trying that, and they were getting like dinged with negative balances because they were withdrawing money, and the bank's like, "Wait, this is a fake check." You can't.
It's fraud. That's 100% just fraud.
100% fraud. And so it was like it was going viral about this money glitch. I'm like,
this isn't a conspiracy.
You mean fraud?
This is fraud.
You mean fraud? Yeah, there's no glitch. There's no glitch. That's
Listen,
that's like.
But so people like, did people see this like on
it.
TikTok and we're like doing it like.
I got a new infinite money glitch that I just figured out.
A new one.
We rob a bank.
Go down. It's winter. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you put on a balaclava and you go into a
keep
bank
robbing banks
with your fingers in your pocket and you go, can I have all the money right now? That's all you have to say. They will give you all the money. You just walk out.
Yeah.
Right away.
Fast.
Infinite money. And you do that at every bank. Every day.
No, I've never heard a more genius plan.
No. Infinite money.
Listen, the banks got it figured out. All right. There's really no way to beat it. Unfortunately, I hate to break it to you.
Decades.
You can't fucking break the bank. The bank will break you. If the bank goes bankrupt, they'll take the money out of your account to pay for their debt because you signed that agreement.
Or they'll get the government to insure it, FDIC or whatever. Or here.
No, but in like what it's insured. But in the time of crisis, the bank needs to pay their loan. They can actually take the money out of your account to pay for it. Yes, it's insured, and yes, you'll get it back. But if you were to go to the bank that day to take money out, and for whatever reason the bank was about to fold, they took the money that's in their system to pay their debt. And so you couldn't get it right away. You're going to get your insured money, blah, blah, blah. Take some time or whatever. But that could happen. And it has happened in the past. No, obviously it doesn't happen nationwide. Small banks here and there, whatever. But it's crazy. I mean, you invest your money in the bank. You put it in a savings account. They take that money and they invest it for you. And they give you 0.5%. It's crazy. Don't keep any cash in the bank like that. Just fucking
jewels.
Invest your own money.
Everybody get, open up your own
rubies and emeralds and topaz. Mm-hmm. Get those in your get those in
precious metals.
Dig them in your backyard.
Yep.
Go
to South America or somewhere in Africa and then run your own illegal precious metal mine. Or
that's the only way to make money, right?
Precious stone. Yeah. It's infinite money glitch. You just have
infinite money.
You just have locals.
What was the guy's name? Williams or something?
Brandon Williams.
Is he?
I always check. Let's check in how Brandon Williams is doing. I mean, he's gonna be like, I'm just doing parody. That's what he's gonna say. Williams. What was it? One stupid
money.
I was like, you can't check that box. That box is for people with like green cards. That's not even the right box. You just check this box. Non-American citizen. And like, yeah, because you can be a citizen. You can have a green card and not have full citizenship. Or whatever. Like, it's just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I wish it was that easy.
He has 34,000 subscribers. Why can't I say that word? Yeah. Subscribers.
Good for him. He's doing well.
Just a grifter. That's what he is. He still looks like he's recording in the shittiest space ever. I'm so glad I called him out for that. I'm like, why aren't you following?
Right in front of his stairs.
Yeah,
Williams and Williams Law Group.
Yeah, that's great. They're fake.
Right. Law Group. Common law lawyer or something or whatever. Yeah, okay.
I don't even think common law applies to the states.
It's a thing. Yeah,
that's what we work on.
I think it's
the
really,
common law.
It's just
the
the title.
The
British.
It's the British.
Yeah, it's a British thing. We still work on common law.
I mean,
everywhere except for
you can
Quebec.
put any title. You can put any title on there and be like, yeah, you're that, because that's not a real thing.
Services.
It's like I'm saying I'm a wizard. Like I'm a wizard. Like wizard company, and like I'm a wizard. And they're like, oh yeah, you can call yourself a wizard. Guess.
Dan, did you know in Article 1, Section 10 of the Constitution, no state shall make anything but gold and silver coin and tender in payment of debts? It's from the Constitution. I've never checked it out. Let me Google it. Let's check. Can't be that hard.
I think that's
Section 1, Article 10 of the Constitution explained. Here we go. Limits the power of the state. States may not enter into a treaty with a foreign nation. The power is given to the president with the advice and consent of 2/3 of the Senate present. States cannot make their own money, nor states can't make their own money.
Yeah. They can't, because we had problems before.
Yeah.
We learned from originally, like when they
it doesn't say anything about gold and silver.
Listen to this. Hold on. Let me read Brandon Williams' most recent blog post.
Perfect. Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Who the fuck wants to hear my story? Why don't I type some excessive trumped up bullshit to try and impress you? Well, I have a 2-inch penis. How's that for impressive? My asshole is prolapsed. How's that for impressive?
What?
How does it feel to be wildly impressed? I'm curious.
What do you mean? What? This is what?
This is Brandon Williams in his blog post.
When did he post that?
on his onestupidfuck.com.
Today? Like, did he post it?
It doesn't have a date.
Doesn't have a date on there.
He's maybe just the ultimate comedian.
Wow, it's like, you just post all the crazy stuff on your thing so you can claim insanity later. You're like, bizarre. Weird.
Dork.
No, grifter's gonna grift.
Gotta grift.
Grifter's gonna grift. That's the great American pastime. Grifting.
Yeah, grifting.
Grifters be grifting.
Grifters be grifting.
Grifting in baseball.
Yeah, grifting. And grifting in baseball.
Baseball sucks. How's that the American pastime?
Some people really like it.
A lot of people love it. I'm not saying
for me, I'm like, it's a good spectator sport because you can sit there and get drunk and the games last forever. And you're like,
it's a game that you go hang out because actually most of the game is just pitching.
Yeah, it's just sitting around. Like, you're just like, okay, like it's a nice day.
There's not like a constant thing to keep you entertained. It's like, all right, maybe we'll get a few hits today.
Get some beers, some hot dogs, nachos. I can sit down
for like $45.
Get hammered outside. And ham outside.
That's just stadiums in general, not just baseball. But
yeah. Like, you can go out there and just hang out and have a good old time watching baseball. I think most people are entertained by, like, if you listen to some of the commentary, are actually pretty fun to listen to. Like, you listen to actual like commentary teams, like the
ball one, strike one.
Yeah, but they tell, like, when they talk about like the players and stuff and like all that.
Oh, sure. The game is all game is all analytics. That's why people love it.
Yeah. But it's like, I'm talking about, like, I don't know, some of the crazy shit. I mean, what was the one thing that we watched? It was like some commentary, like the two commentators were talking about. I think it was like after a game breakdown, and they showed like the guy, like they talk about like the pitching scandals, like those was like pretty cool, like pitchers trying to hide like them putting sticky stuff on the wall so get more rotation or whatever. But they're like
cheating and trying.
Yeah. Bust them down. But yeah, it's like watching pull them break it down, and like they have like the actual footage. This guy's like kneeling in the corner of the bullpen doing what? What's he doing over there? And it's like you can see him. He's like touching that thing out. He's touching that specific spot on his glove. Like every time he's fucking pitching. Like, I don't know, but I don't know. It's fun again. Yeah, just sit there and watch it. Great American. Why it's a great American? I don't know.
It's a pastime. It's not sport.
Let's
wrap this one up because I set up my new hot tub and listen. Big Daddy B's a little sore from all the deck work he did.
The deck work and the fasting you're doing.
I was putting a lot of work on the dick this weekend.
The dick.
And the dick.
All right, that was fun.
All right.
Peace, everybody.
Peace.